Set Mode and Fault Type Part 2. As mentioned before, using options in Set Mode field in Set Mode and Fault Type part, the user can introduce certain parameters into software to test in analog output channels table and produce the device voltage and the current corresponding to them. Distance ZI constant mode is used for impedance and distance functions. In this mode, the user enters fault impedance and test current, and the device injects the corresponding current and voltage to it. If user determines the fault impedance in terms of magnitude and angle, the software calculates R and X values and displays them in the second row. For example, the impedance value of 1 ohm has been entered with a 45 angle, and the R and X values are shown in the second row. If the fault impedance is also adjusted in terms of R and X, the software calculates the impedance and angle and shows in the first row. For example, the value of R and X has been adjusted to be 100 milliohm and 50 milliohm respectively, and the values of impedance and fault angle are shown in the first row. In this case, the test current of 2 ampere is entered for dual phase fault L1, L2, and the software calculates the voltage and test current values using mathematical relations and shows them in table view. In distance ZV constant mode by keeping voltage constant and adjusting it by user, and by adjusting the fault impedance value, the test current value is calculated using mathematical relations and displayed in table view. Additionally, in distance ZZS constant mode, the value of fault impedance and test current value are calculated using mathematical relations and displayed in table view. Now, if user wants to consider the fault impedance in terms of percentage of a parameter, he can use 3 modes: distance Z%I constant, distance Z%V constant, and distance Z%ZS constant. In the percentage of part, it has been determined that fault impedance should be selected as a percentage of line impedance. In the Z% part, it is determined that what percentage of the selected value the fault impedance should be, and in phi Z part, the impedance angle is adjusted. In distance Z%I constant mode, the fault current is constant, and the software calculates its corresponding voltage and current based on fault type and impedance. In addition, the value of fault voltage is constant in distance Z%V constant, and when user adjusts it, the test current values are calculated by software. Additionally, by adjusting SIR parameter in distance Z%ZS constant mode, the value of current and test voltage is calculated in software. It should be noted that current and test voltage values are also calculated using the above mentioned formulas, with the difference that the impedance value is selected to be percentage of the line impedance. For example, in distance Z%ZS constant mode, the impedance test point is selected to be 80% of the line impedance with a 40-degree angle, and SIR value is adjusted to be 10. Now the values of voltage and test current are calculated using the above mentioned mathematical relations and displayed in table view. If user wants to conduct overcurrent tests in this room, he should adjust set mode on overcurrent I test and adjust current angle, and voltage for directional functions in angle output channels table. In table view page, the values of voltage and test current are calculated based on the selected fault type. For example, for 2-phase fault L1, L2, the test current of 1 ampere with a 40-degree angle and a voltage of 5 volts was adjusted, and the values of current and test voltage can be observed in table view. Additionally, in order to test differential relays in this room, the user should open hardware configuration window and disable the voltage outputs and enable all 6 current phases. Then in detail view window, adjust the set mode on differential I bias, I diff by adjusting I diff and I bias values to be 0.5 and 7 times of the nominal current in analog output channels table. The current of different phases is calculated for differential function and displayed in table view window. Pay attention that these values are calculated based on the parameters adjusted in differential block of test object page, and the user is required to enter the specifications of the protected equipment and tested relay.